You are listening to a Bucking Spurs podcast. And today's episode is going to be just kind of an homage, a reflection, if you will, of the month of July that we've had. It was very special to us here at a Bucking Spurs podcast. And then we're going to talk a little bit about our giveaway contest that we had on Instagram. So make sure if you're not following us on Instagram that you are. We decided to do a little giveaway contest in a way to show, our thank you for all of you guys supporting us on a Bucking Spurs podcast. So first, Saranova's going to drop this beat.
I need a little bit more dose of nasty. I'm seeing a little bit of unconfident, a little hesitation. It's not supposed to be easy. Every round gets tougher. Penetrate hard. Good passes. Shoot with confidence. I want some nasty.
A big thank you. Thank you. This episode is all about appreciation. And, when I talk about it being a big month, I know I've mentioned it a few times throughout the podcast. It's because we've seen a lot of growth. We went from doing 2 to 3 episodes a month, averaging around 250 downloads per month, which to me is amazing. I know it's not, big numbers like these big podcast networks or what they get. But 250 to me was not something that I took for granted. It was something that I appreciated. I appreciate every download that comes through you guys. The listeners, Spurs Nation, I do it all for you. I do it all for San Antonio, and I do it all for the 210 city, baby. And, everything that we've been through together, we needed a voice, and I wanted to be one of them for Spurs Nation. So the month of July, we took it up a notch. We went from around 2 to 3 episodes, like I said before, to doing 7 episodes in July, and it was a lot of fun. A lot of that had to deal with, free agency. Was exciting for us this year. Summer League was amazing. I had a lot of fun over there. So covering, our young guys, that was another big piece of why we had more content this month, and that was because we had these 3 rookies that, show a lot of potential, and there was a lot to talk about. There's still a lot to talk about. I got on Locked On Spurs podcast, so if you follow Locked On Spurs, if you look at a podcast from a few episodes ago, you'll hear me on there talking a little bit about the Spurs, and that was a lot of fun. So shout out to Locked On Spurs and Jeff G. Spurs Zone on Twitter for bringing me on. This month we went, like I said, we averaged about 200 to 250 downloads this past year. This is the first year of the pod. This is the second season that we started here in July. So season 1 was last year, and everything that we went through last season, and season 2 started off as soon as the season ended. We started doing reviews and getting ready for the draft and all that stuff. And it's been a beautiful month. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you guys. I thank you guys for listening. Every single download that gets downloaded here is special to me, all right? Because I'm doing this, all on my own. I'm not part of some big network. I'm not no professional, but I'm an amateur. I was a rookie last season. My rookie year has come to an end of podcasting, so now I'm coming in as year 2, right? In year 2 as somewhat of a little bit of a veteran now. And in the month of July, we went up to 977 downloads. That is crazy. 977. That number I wanted to get to 1,000. Just to kind of make a real round number and make it a little, make it that 4-digit figures, you know what I'm saying? So it was a beautiful thing, man. This month of July was amazing. It was fun for me. I saw that the downloads were coming in. Spurs Nation was tuning in. Spurs Nation was rating, commenting on iTunes and Spotify and all these things. And that's a testament to you guys, man. My success here is a testament to y'all. It's a testament for your love of the San Antonio Spurs. And that's something that we relate here and that we share in common, and it's something that I'm not going to take for granted. 977 downloads. It's amazing. I can't wait to just keep doing this and to keep growing with y'all. And those of y'all that have stuck around, that have been with me since the beginning, thank you so much for rating and subscribing and sharing and talking about it and showing me love on Instagram, on Twitter and everywhere that we're at. Those of y'all that are showing the love back to me, I really appreciate it. And I can't go through everyone that's commented, right, or whatever. And I've brought on special guests like Spurs Wave from Instagram, Spurs Feed from Instagram. And like I said, I was on the Locked On Spurs podcast, and it's just been amazing. It's just been an amazing month of July. And I think it's going to be an amazing season next year. So this was a very special month to me. 977 downloads. That's a number that's going to stick with me forever. That's going to be that big jump for us, for a Bucking Spurs podcast. And that just kind of shows me that, hey, Spurs Nation is out there. Spurs Nation wants content. Spurs Nation wants to talk about these things. And I want to do more things for you guys and to show my appreciation. So in turn of this being our biggest month ever on this podcast, I wanted to show my appreciation by doing a giveaway on Instagram. So on Instagram, a few days ago, I put out just a little contest. I'm giving away a Spurs bag, like those little duffel bags that you take to the gym or whatever. It's tight and super crisp. I got it on Amazon, and we're gonna talk a little bit about that contest and who won that contest. We're gonna give that away too right now. But let's take a little break first. Just a reminder, guys, subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, wherever you're getting your podcast. Most likely, we are there. Make sure that you follow us on Instagram and on Twitter. And make sure you come and show the love. Make sure you comment. I'm trying to be as active as I can on that. And I just appreciate you guys so much. Don't forget to rate on whatever platform you're listening on. It really helps. Comment. It really helps. Just a big thank you. Thank you to everybody out there in Spurs Nation for an amazing month of July. All right, now back to the pod. So we had a little contest on Instagram and on Twitter. So make sure that you guys are following. Again, I want to do this every month. Every month I want to do a little giveaway for my listeners to show you guys that I really do appreciate you guys that are tuning in. So it was a big month of July. The free giveaway has come to an end, and it was a few things that I asked from you guys, and the main qualifier was to create a nickname for your favorite current Spur. And we got a lot of nicknames that came through, and some of them were good, some of them were but a lot of them came in and they were all fire, and I really appreciate all of them that came in. I want to talk a little bit about honorable mentions, right? So first off, honorable mention goes to top_dog_8 on Instagram. He went ahead and submitted DeMar DeRozan for DeMar DeRozan. I like that nickname. I've heard it before, and I think that's kind of why it didn't really make the final three. But nonetheless, it's a very good nickname. Same thing goes for the next one, TV-Slater. Slater's he's probably going to be on the podcast soon. He's been very active with me on Instagram, and I want to bring him on sometime in the near future to talk Spurs basketball with everybody, right? So his nickname was DeMar Debo DeRozan. So Debo is also a nickname that has been around since he's gotten here, and I was kind of, when I was picking these names out, I wanted to see something a little bit clever, something I've never heard before, and something that kind of just rang with me as I said it, right? And something that I'm going to want to call these guys, because I have my own nicknames for some of these players, but it's not about that. Y'all know what those are. Another honorable mention goes to Jesse B. Lit. Jesse B_Lit came up with Lonnie Airwalker, and this is the one that I like. I like too, DeJounte Chip Murray, because he definitely does play with a chip on his shoulder. He plays like everybody counts him out, that no one believes in him. And even though the San Antonio Spurs Nation and Spurs organization have full confidence in this kid, it doesn't translate to his game. He still plays with that chip on his shoulder. So I like those two nicknames. Airwalker is a little bit on the nose. I've thought of Lonnie Airwalker too, Lonnie Skywalker, and all these things like that, but those are a little bit too on the nose. But he definitely does walk on air when he attacks the rim, you know that. All right, next one goes to Jezreel1440. It's JEZREEL1440 on Instagram, and his nickname for DeJounte Murray was DJ Smooth. Right, DeJounte Smooth. I like that one too, because that boy's smooth as silk, baby. Those are all honorable mention nicknames. Shout out to you guys for submitting those, and hopefully, maybe you got one of those guys can win something next month, right? Because I want to do one of these giveaways every month, right? So the final three that I came down to, in third place came to Chase Sexton 10 on Instagram. This one was another just simple nickname, but it had some holding power in my mind when I read it. And that was DeJounte Murray, a nickname for him, and that was just Lock. One word, Lock. DeJounte Lock Murray, maybe. I don't know. But that boy, I love that nickname. Just like Chip, like I mentioned earlier, Lock. Because to me, he's a lock in many ways. He's a lock on the defensive end. He's a lock in the leadership rankings. He's a lock in the locker room. And when he comes out on the floor, he'll lock you up, right? And then he's a lock to make an impact on the floor on both ends of the floor. And I think that he's just going to be a Spur forever. I hope that DeJounte is a Spur forever, and he's a lock with San Antonio. So that was a nickname that I just felt in many ways represented. It's simple, elegant, one word, but at the same time, Chase Sexton 10 dropped that one, and I liked it a lot. Number 2, coming up in with the silver medal, is Dapper Dan _7 on Instagram. And he came up with Patty Wheels Mills Thrills. Patty Wheels Mills Thrills. And he gave me a little bit of why that nickname. He said that his dad says that every time that Patty gets a bucket. And I love it, right? Patty Wheels Mills Thrills. And the Patty Thrills has been around for a while, but that Wheels and Mills, it's long. It's a tongue twister. It's tough to say, but damn, doesn't it roll off the tongue? And I really like that nickname for Patty Mills. All right, so your winner, first place for the giveaway contest, goes to Saints Fan Central out of San Antonio. Saints Fan Central on Instagram has a nickname for Lonnie Walker, and that's the Money Locker. The Money Locker, Lonnie Walker. I like that one. To me, it's just this guy's money. He's going to lock you up. He holds, he's the safe that holds all these goods that are inside him, and he's just gets buckets, and there's just something about the originality of that name that I've never heard that one before. Like I said earlier, Airwalker, Skywalker, those are all good nicknames. But the Money Locker just kind of makes sense, like if you can visualize that, it just kind of fits Lonnie. Like Lonnie's just so smooth. He's so slick, you know what I mean? Like he can do what he does at a high level. This dude's money, man. Like, when he attacks the rim, he's money. When he hits that mid-range, he's money. When he hits that 3-ball, he's money. I know y'all saw on Twitter or on Instagram or on Bleacher Report the other day where he knocked down like 13 threes in a row. That dude's money. He holds the money. He's holding that. And it's a good nickname. So Lonnie Walker, the Money Locker. Shout out to Saints Fan Central on Instagram for dropping that nickname. I loved it. Again, it was original. It made sense to me in a lot of ways. That's something that I think that can stick. Right. Same thing with Locke and Patty Wheels Mills Thrills. Those are all good nicknames. And I want to give a big shout out to all of Spurs Nation who hit me up on Twitter, who hit me up on Instagram, and who did, everything that you needed to do in the contest, which was tag a picture of you listening to the pod, tag 2 people on the Instagram post, and come up with a creative nickname for your favorite current Spur, right? So shout out to Saints Fan Central. Shout out to Spurs Nation. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'm telling you, I don't take it for granted. Every single download that comes through, makes my heart, race a little bit faster because I appreciate y'all so much. And it excites me that you guys like listening, for one. That amazes me that you guys just want to listen to my pod. And I love doing these things, man. And right now we're in the dog days of the NBA. There's not a lot of new news to talk about, but there's always something to talk about with San Antonio Spurs, right? So, shout out to everyone who participated again. Thank you guys for an amazing month of July. 977 downloads. Good God, that's amazing to me. That's like a 300% growth from what we usually get on a monthly basis. And I just want to see it keep going up and more and more and more, so I can do more podcasts, so I can do more giveaways, so I can do more things for Spurs Nation, because this pod is for you. Go Spurs, go.